My name is Paul Thomas. I kind of run this thing called DNA Definitive, which is a kind of, it started off in 2000 as a kind of network of academics sitting in a room, really, in a sense, discussing the things that we shouldn't talk about. And I always remember the first topic. The first topic is why women make really awful managers. I'm not going to go into that. And we solved it. We knew why it was, because organizations are built by men, for men, to actually play men's games, and it's nothing to do with the women, actually. But one of the things that we did in that research group was to talk about the things that we really couldn't talk about on the outside. And eventually, in 2004, 2005, what we discovered as a group of academics, what we really needed was real people. So we brought in some executives, we brought in some industrialists, we brought some athletes in, we brought special forces in, and it's grown considerably over that to about 5,000, 6,000 members. Now, part of this process of DNA is that we go into companies and help them out, and one of the things that we've done over the last kind of, I would say, 6 years, 7 years, is to actually get rid of management. We call it the MMV, the Mad Management Virus, that is taught by business schools, that is kind of created and encouraged by MBAs. Anybody got an MBA? MBA? Come on, own up. What does it stand for? Married but available. Well, if you're in New York, it means more bloody administrators. But that's probably the Welsh something government. Anyway, so what we're going to look at, and what I want to talk about, is this notion of entrepreneurship, of entrepreneurship, of actually challenging what it is that we do in organizations. And it was interesting that, like all good academics, I'm going to start with the end. And for me, the end of good leadership. And it was one of your questions, isn't it? What does great leadership look like? And to be honest, after 20 years of studying it, of talking about it, of actually being part of a business school, I do not know what a leader looks like. I do not know this difference between management and leadership. We could spend all day and months talking about it. Because to me, it's every time I go into an organization, I discover something new, and I discover somebody else who's got a different trait or a different way of doing it. And I think the key to this is, I know somebody mentioned authentic leadership. And for me, the key is being authentic to yourself. You cannot adapt some model or some theory that's out there for your particular work. It has to be you. You won't survive. It won't last. And ultimately, it's about this thing called trust. I studied it, did a 4-year research program on it. I traveled around the world looking at different areas of trust, even Chinese, and they have a word for it, guanxi, social networks, trusted networks. I still don't know what it is. All I know is that without trust, you don't take risks. And without risks, you're not adapting. You're not moving forward, you're not creative, you're not inventing the new. All you're doing is just literally following what's already gone on. And you know, it's quite simple. In the 21st century, we desperately need something new. We cannot continue doing what we're doing and trying to expect different results. It doesn't work. It's not working. There are organizations out there now, 30 years, 40 years of literally not managing their organization. You know, Semco in Brazil, luckily, I went out there in 2000, 2003, went out, it was fantastic. There's not a manager inside, 4,500, 5,000 workers. They do everything from heavy-end manufacturing right through to education. They do social services as well. There's not a manager inside. We do not need management in the 21st century. Oh, is it that bad? In management is about planning, organizing, command, control, and coordinating resources. Henry Fayol. 1909. Where are we? 2013. It doesn't exist, honestly. You can't plan. You can't organize. Hands up who's got children. Yeah? Do you control children? Yeah. I'm still waiting for somebody to keep their arm up because, one, I'm going to write a book about them because I'd be really surprised. And two, I'd probably report them to social services. They've ultimately tied them up. But you can't control children. Yet when we go to the workplace, what do we try and do? We try and control the children. They call our employees. They're children. We treat them like children. We treat them like 5-year-olds. What time to come into work, what to do, when to do it. We give them job descriptions just in case they forget. We give them all of this. And it doesn't work. You know, the first thing the unions do if there's a problem in the organization is work the rule, work to the job description. Yeah, and everything slows down and stops. You cannot write down what good employees do in your organization. What you have to do is trust. Trust is crucial. Now, I'm going to come back to that. And you know, I don't want to kind of convince you of anything, but you really have to convince yourselves that you need to be leaders rather than managers. But But for me, democracy is vital. And this word ownership as well. Don't wait for other people to come along and change it for you. It's not going to happen. You have to start change. You have to own the change. And it was interesting that people started, and I listened to some of the conversations, about making the change and who's there to make the change. And we as leaders, we drive the change. Well, unfortunately, that you're not going to do it that way. You have to get the people who are delivering the service from the front line to actually own what it is you're trying to do. What you have to do as leaders is have passion. You also have to have democracy. I know that's a bit of a iffy word, but democracy is important. Even if they don't like the decision, if they've been part of the decision, they'll take ownership. They'll drive it forward. But also, another question, does anybody, it's too many questions, anybody own a dog? Yeah, lower level of intelligence than a human being? Yeah. Yes, Paul? Depends on the employee. Yes, yeah, lower level of intelligence than, just take it for me, yeah, lower level of intelligence than a human being. But what do you do with a dog when you first get it? You train it. Simple as that. It's what HR does, isn't it? HR brings in a new employee, they says, sit, beg, roll over. Human resources, human resources, HR, neither human or resourceful. Sit, beg, roll over. We train it, but it's called coevolution. And if you look at human systems, what happens when you train a dog is the dog trains you. You know that if you own a dog, it's a low-level intelligence than a human being. You'll sit there with a newspaper, it's pouring out with rain. You just finished a hard day's work, you know, kind of creating all this wonderful sport and athletes, and then it'll go to you with this lead. And they'll look at you and you think, oh, I've got to take it for a walk. And it knows if it goes by the door and scratches by the door, you have to get up and open the door. You have to stop what you're doing. It's called coevolution. The more you connect face to face, the more you co-evolve. As soon as you start using blackberries and blueberries and apples and pears in order to communicate, you've lost the plot. It's sufficient. Hands up who emails people. Keep your hand up if you email people in the same office. It's wrong, isn't it? As soon as I said it, you go, oh yeah, I do, but I'm not putting my hand up. Because I've seen it in manufacturing companies. I've seen people sit opposite people they call them prairie dog offices. Prairie dog, you come across prairie dog offices, open plan offices. You know, when something happens the other side of the room, people go, and back down. Prairie dog. I've seen people in those offices, they look at each other and they'll send emails. They won't talk. They'll go, do you fancy a coffee? Ping. And then they'll go, not yet, I'm still busy with the customer. Ping back. Okay, when do you fancy going? Ping. And they're doing this all day. Now, I don't say you do that. But when we shut down emails, and we shut down most emails in all the organizations we go into, 33 organizations we've done so far, first thing we do, close down email. Why? Because it's efficient, but it's not effective. What we've got to get back to is human contact. I have a group of students, 20 students, PhD, on complex systems. I love complex systems. I have no friends. But when I sit down with my PhD students, I look at them, and they're all in there for one reason. That's to do complex systems. They're going to study it for 3 to 4 years. That's going to be their life. And I go to them. I start at 9 o'clock. I do one little induction, and I tell them everything about complexity. Start at 9 o'clock. I take my second breath at 12 o'clock. Yes, I get 3 hours of blasting complexity systems. And then I go to them at 12 o'clock, I go, so what do you think about complexity? And I get the same look, fear. I get the kind of, he's looking at me, he's waving his finger, he's opened his mouth, but I haven't listened to a word he said. Now there's panic. And I go, right, okay, he's not so bright. What do you think about complexity? And I get the same look, I go, it's all right, Paul. Yeah, but which bit of it is all right? Well, all of it. Yeah, but you must have liked some bit of it. All of it, really? And then I go, you didn't listen to it. Well, not really. Well, which bit did I lose you at? The beginning. I go, why didn't you stop me? You were enjoying yourself. We didn't like to. But I know if I sent an email to them, I said, do complexity systems, they would have emailed back with a book by the side of them. They would have gone, yeah, did he speak about self-organization? And I go, did he speak about, yeah. We love self-organization. Now, a year later, I'd still be thinking these students are progressing. They've got what it is. A year later, I meet them and go, how's self-organization? I got the same blank look. It must be natural. It goes, wow, God, blinking heck. No, sorry, don't know what you're on about. Well, you sent me an email. Did I? Oh, no, we've really struggled. I'm thinking of dropping out. So it's efficient, but it's not effective. In our organizations, I guarantee you, as soon as we start doing the effectiveness bit of communication, our productivity goes up, our quality goes up, our initiatives go up, our innovations go up. Because we sit there, we can see the blank stares. We don't react to it. A guy called Trevor Bailey from VP of Alstom, 48,000 workers, every morning sent an email out to his staff. Do you do that? Good. Every morning, 7 o'clock, no fail, he'd send an email out. And it would be against what happened yesterday, what are they going to look out for today, the core values, the leadership strengths, etc., etc. And I said to him, it's pointless, nobody reads them. He said, of course they do. 48,000 workers, of course they read them. I said, all right, let's try it. We were based in Rugby, 450 workers. I said, send your email out, get your PA to send the email out, and we'll watch people. And so they did. 7 o'clock, sent the email out, and we were in the kind of offices there, we were watching them. And what did they do? Ping, delete. Ping, delete. He said, but I said, that's my Rugby workers. They can see me. They talk to me every day. They know me. They said, they don't need to read my emails. I said, all right, let's do the challenge. And it's in the book. There's a paragraph. There's the email. And on the email, halfway through it, it says, we will pay £1,000 out for anybody who responds to this email. 48,000 workers. How much did we have to pay out? This is Alstom. This is a major company, global company. 40, China, Malaysia, Japan, India. How many replies? 6? 6,000? 3,000? 0. Nobody replied, not even his PA. Not one. Zilch. It's not effective. Honestly, take it from me. And that's what we've got to get back to, is that idea. The more you connect, and that's all it is human beings. It's messy, isn't it? We know individually we're quite messy. If you've got a group of us together in an organization, we can have individual mess, but a collective mess. You cannot manage mess. You can lead it, you can nudge it, you can do all sorts of things to it, but don't confuse leadership with a softer form of management. It's not. In the 21st century, bless you, in the 21st century, it's not. It's completely different. Have a look at this. Now we laugh, I know, but last week I was called a fatty. No. Last week I was actually, I travel the UK, travel Europe, and everywhere I go I try to train. So I'll drift into a private leisure centre or a public leisure centre. I went into this leisure centre, I won't tell you where, Cornwall. And I'm there, and I got my membership card, and I take my membership card, and I go, oh, can I just use the gym, please? 7 o'clock in the morning, nobody else around, just a bored kind of lifeguard. And he says, oh, you've run out. He said, you need to pay another fee. I said, yeah, okay, no problem. He said, oh, no, you can't pay me now. He said, you've got to phone through, he said, for a reference number. I went, but it's 7 o'clock. I said, I've got to be in work now by 8:30. No, still got a phone through. He said, if you phone through, he said, I can do it here now. He said, but I need that reference number. So I think, so I take my mobile out. Where's the number? He said, on the back of the card. I got my credit card there. So I do this. Phone, I go, yeah. Hello. Sorry, it goes ding, ring, ring. And then I realise it's ringing in his office, where he is. So I'm there going, and I look at him, and he goes, and he just picks up the phone. Hello there, Bodmin Leisure Centre. I went, are you joking? Yes, sir, how may I help you? We're all really pretty proper. And I said, I need a reference number, please do it. He said, can you give me a membership number? Yeah, so I read the membership number off, and then he gives me this code. I said, I've got a pen. He said, can you borrow one? I went, excuse me, can I borrow your pen? Yes, sir, of course, no problem. Gives me, I'm doing this. This is ridiculous, isn't it? I'm actually I don't want to train now. I've lost the will. But that's something that we're starting to kind of not change, not see. I've not seen great leaps in leadership and sport provision. I know I'm probably looking in the wrong areas. But we see the private sector in sport and leisure suffering majorly, isn't it? I know, what's his name? Bannerstein has lost his wife and things and pretty depressed and 19 million lost. But public sector is really on the up, isn't it? There's some really good stuff going on in private sector. But we still got to shake the image. We've still got to get more people in it. And it's all about changing and challenging the front line. To me, the answers are not at the top. The answers are at the bottom. The answers are at getting engagement properly. Let me show you this. This is a video that we did with part of the BBC Wales. What do you think? Trust? did you know what was going on? Angela is an extremely successful businesswoman, by the way, multi-millionaire, desperate to give up the work in order to give it away and say, right, okay, let me go and spend some money. But she was too busy. I mean, Angela would go around the park, and it took 3 or 4 attempts to actually get her to communicate to us, because the BBC Wales cameras were there. Can't trust those people. But when they were there, there would be a HR, there would be a PA, there would be somebody else sitting there on the left, marketing, and then there was Angela at the back. And it would literally be looking at all 4 of them in order to get through to Angela. So the lack of trust internally as well as externally. But I always remember Angela walking around the park, and she said, this one person, she said, excuse me, pick the litter up. Don't just walk by it, pick the litter up. What she didn't realize was it was a customer. And you could see this customer going, what? Sorry, I didn't drop it. It doesn't matter whether you didn't drop it, pick it up. Okay. What do I do with it now? It's in the bin, put it in the bin. So slightly out of touch, but still brilliant. But that's the trouble. I see a lot of managers, I see a lot of directors, they've got the great passion. It's they want to make the change. You're not there for the wrong reasons. It's just perhaps you don't know how to get people as part of that process. And to me, it's all about purpose. The whole job of a senior leader is to constantly talk about purpose, what it is we're trying to achieve. You know, we see Skype, the VP of Skype, he just says, I want to make a ding in the universe. That's it. Well, what else? What's the details? No, nothing else. I want to make a ding in the universe. No, I can buy into that. That gives me freedom, it gives me autonomy, it gives me mastery. The 3 major things of today's modern motivational society. Youth, youngsters, they don't want to be told what to do. They want freedom, they want autonomy, they want to master what they do really well. That's the exciting bit, is to make a difference, isn't it? And it was interesting, it's a conversation in New York. And the guy said, the trouble is, he said, when you first come out of university or you get that first job, what you want is money. And then career, and then a bit more money, and then we'll have an increment, like you get in public sector, isn't it? You'll do a responsible job, they give you an increment for it, which is usually about £50 a year, but it doesn't matter, it's more money. Money, career, and then you reach a certain age, don't know what that is, different for different people, and you think back, I'd like to make a difference. Now, some people realize that more than others, but in sport, leisure, recreation, we've already got that purpose, haven't we? We're already making a difference, getting paid for it. A lot of money. I can say that because I was in leisure, so I know it isn't. But look, that's the wrong type of organization. That doesn't exist in the 21st century. That's chief executives, GlaxoSmithKline, BP, Shell, all at the London School of Economics, sitting around the room. The one question we asked was, what are you certain about in your organization? One question. One question. What are you certain about in your organization? And they built this. This is their conversation. This is typical top-down hierarchical structure. What's interesting, I'm not sure this works. See that guy there? That's a guy called Terry Stock, who was just about to retire from Rolls-Royce engines. And he said, do you want to see? He said, I'm at the top. He said, I'm exhausted. There I am. He said, 30 years, 40 years of doing things in organizations. He said, I failed in most of them. Rolls-Royce engines, HR. And that's a good admission, isn't it? Because he said, whatever I've tried to do top-down never gets engaged. Because engagement is 2 ways. They have to trust you to engage. If you really want true engagement, then they first of all have to trust you. They have to understand that the purpose is right, that you have their kind of staff at heart, that you are there desperately trying to look after them and be part of that process and part of that team. Some people think engagement is just simply talking to people. There was a chief executive, I won't again mention the authority in Wales, who felt that every time they went out and spoke to staff, that was engagement. So they'd say, okay, tell me, social services, what's wrong? And they'd have all these answers. And he'd do it the following year. And his problem was? No action. You can listen, great, but you've got to act. You've got to do something about it. They trust, they're looking for that trust. Now, initially, they might be like the 5-year-olds. They'll play up. I know you're sitting there now thinking, oh, I couldn't trust my staff. They'd run away with things. Oh, I don't know. And it's difficult, because if you treat them like idiots, if you treat them like 5-year-olds, they'll act like 5-year-olds. Most of our organizations in the West are like this. Most of our organizations in the US are like that. Most of the Asian organizations are like that. But there are a few now out there that are changing it. They're flat structures. They don't have managers, they have leaders. They're actually democratically voted in. And if they're not very good after a certain while, they vote them back out. Managers get paid less, not more, in these good organizations. Because if you're in management, guess what you're doing? Nothing. Look, I'm trying to wind you up. Yeah, but in these organizations, yeah, you do, because if you go into management, it's not front line. If you're not front line, it means you're not adding value. If you're not adding value, then you're a cost. If you're a cost, we'll have to lower the cost on it. It's flipping the whole idea of organizations. That's terrifying, isn't it? We climb the career ladder. Why do we climb the career ladder? Be honest. More money, more freedom, more autonomy, more power. But the trouble is, organizations are waking up to it, and they're saying, well, actually, no, you don't have more power. We have more power. We're the front line. We're adding value. We need some coordination and some leadership. Yeah, of course. We need some boundaries. I'll show you in a minute what we do. But all our organizations, they get rid of titles. What do you want a management title for? Chief executive. What do you want a chief exec's title for? Power, status, freedom. Yes, Paul? Could you do me a favor? Could you all stand up? Thomas, you can sit. Yeah, no, you worked hard today, mate. Yeah. You're a hero to many people. They wouldn't want to see you, you know. Are you okay? Yes? I want you to do two things for me. March on the spot and stop. Simple, two things. Rupert, I know you'll struggle with this, mate, I tell you. This is called coordination, fella. March on the stop, stop. Stop, march. March, stop. Okay, another two things. Anybody not from Wales? Okay, do you know what a cwtch is? Yeah? If you don't know what a cwtch, you're going to find out in a minute. You're not... What you can't do... I did this at an HR conference in Cardiff once. I forgot to tell them, you can't cwtch the person next to you. There was mayhem. You can't cwtch the person next to you. It's got to be yourself. So cwtch is just a hug. Yes, cwtch yourself. Cwtch, so it's march, stop, cwtch, clap. One go. Yeah? Are you ready? Simple commands. I'm managing now. March, stop, cwtch, clap, 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 cwtch, cwtch, cwtch. We're struggling even with the basics. Stop, march. Okay, stop. What I'm going to do to you now is what we do in business schools, what we do in education, what we do in consultancy. When I say stop, I mean march. When I say march, I mean stop. When I say cwtch, I mean clap. And when I say clap, I mean cwtch. Are you okay? Do you need a memo and an email? Memo, that's a sign of my age, isn't it? Are you okay? We'll do it really slow. Yes? March. Stop. Cwtch. Clap. 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 Cwtch. Cwtch. Stop. March. March.
That's why I'm retiring.
Stop. March. March. See, if you listen closely, you can hear the sound of clenching buttocks. March. Stop. 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 Clap. Cwtch. Cwtch. Give yourselves a round of cwtches and have a seat. What was nice was nobody asked why. Because there is no reason why. But some of you stood there thinking, I'm not joining in. This is silly. He's just making a fool of us now. And you were right. Well, what it was is that when we have meetings, we only do 20-minute meetings. Maximum 20 minutes. Why? You get bored, you get switched off. I can guarantee that if you sit there for an hour listening to me talk, after 20 minutes, your brain drains of blood and you think, oh, and you start thinking of the groceries, you'll start thinking of the kids, you'll start thinking of doing something else. Because 20 minutes is it. We do 20-minute meetings, maximum. We also do it outside. Wherever the weather, we do our 20-minute meetings. Meetings is not a pleasure any longer. Meetings isn't a place where you switch off. Meetings is somewhere where you go to make decisions, because people going there have to have some nice ideas or solutions before they get there. If it's really intense, they'll have one-to-ones before they have the meetings. But the idea is not to spend all day in meetings. We did it with social workers. Our fear with social workers is that they were spending 3 hours in front of a computer doing a wash assembly government unified assessment, all on forms. They'd have 10 minutes with the client, helping them out, and then 3 hours back in the front of the form. Then they'd have meetings. Well, now we try to stop all that, because remember, it's all about output, isn't it? It's not about the process or the system or the policy or the procedure. It's ultimately the output. This, for me, is funny, because I like this. This is what people draw, and this is how they draw their organization, don't they? And there are various forms of organization. Sometimes they put the manager in the middle and draw it on nice big circles. But they'll try and rationalize it. They'll try and make it real for themselves so they can see what's happening in the organization. That's the organization. That's a snapshot. That's a 30-minute snapshot of Rolls-Royce marine engines. That's the connectivity. These are the people, and this is not qualitative. This is not the depth of conversation. It could just be, how are you type of thing in the morning. And that's what we've shown. Connections, connections. This is the manufacturing, and the other side is the marketing. On one side in engineering, you have 60 to 80,000 pound a year salaries. On this side, the marketing side, between 40 and 70,000 pound per annum salaries. When the engineers build something, they then give it to the marketeers and the procurement side and say, right, off you go, sell it. Yeah, who's holding it all together? Who's the one in the middle? Chief executive? HR? Who do you think's holding it together? Who? What? Cafe. Yeah, second one was brilliant. Yeah, it was the receptionist, absolutely. It was a frontline receptionist. Her name was June. She was on £13,000 per annum. She held the organization. We call them passive attractors, by the way. I know it's a nice term, isn't it? A lovely term, complex systems. In complex systems, you have what they call passive attractors. People who hold the organization together. Now, these can be ambassadors or they can be assassins. Yeah, they can be the people who drive the organization forward and they're constantly looking for new ideas and supporting your ideas, or they can be the assassins of the organizations. The people who go, yeah, fantastic idea, love it. No, we're not doing that. That's not what we're doing. And start driving down that organization. They de-energize the organization. Now, Terry Stock, at the time we did this, was really worried. What happens to June? What happens if June disappears? What would you do to protect June? She's on £30,000 per annum, by the way. The rest are all 40, 50, 60,000 pounds. What would you do to protect June? Can you do anything? Hello? Take June out. Double her salary. Put more Junes on the front line. So June then becomes a head of reception. I don't know. Yes? Head of Junes. Yeah, the problem is once you put 3 or 4 people by the side of June, June would, because you'd see June normally, she'd go, you know, they'd go up to June and go, June, oh, you don't look like June. June, you look rough. June. Hello, June. All right, June. I've got a problem. And you'd see June going, come here, what's the matter? She'd go, oh, June, I got this problem with marketing. Do you know anybody in marketing that can sort this out? Leave it with me. I'll sort it out for you now. And she'd ring him up. She'd go, yeah, Paul needs a problem. Yeah, okay, yeah. Go and see John. And you literally go off, you go. And you think, solved, problem solved. It wouldn't go any further. June would never talk about it. As soon as you put 2 or 3 people by the side of June, you'd see June, you see Paul going up to see June, and she'd go, shh, shh. She'd take him around the side of the reception. She'd go, shh, shh. They're listening in. Don't say anything. Yeah, I'll sort it out for you. All right, girls, all right. And she sorted our problem out. They never get trained up. The trouble is we're paying her more money. She then became, or given a salary title. She then wasn't June. She was then head of something. She was then status, power. She could ruin your career. All of these things are part of the organization mindset, social construct. They don't really exist. We make it up. We like to have some order, so we make something like this up. But reality is that we're in a network. It's a very messy network as well. Is that okay? Does that make sense? What you've got to do is actually embrace the mess. I love that. Don't you just love that? Because you can train people, you can motivate people, you can put the right environment into it, you can encourage them, you can plan it out for months on end, but go on, say it. I can't say it. I've got. Sorry. Shit happens, doesn't it? You know, and you can't do it. Unfortunately, that's what it is. That's human systems. The key is, it doesn't matter how much practice or preparation you put into it, that happens, you've got to move on. Yes, we call it, well, I don't call it, a guy that I work with, Andy McCann, calls it feed forward. Take the lesson, move forward. Don't feed back, feed forward. Keep it going forward. Keep energizing the purpose and forward. Look, I'm running out of time. Very quickly, that isn't me. But that's people I meet every day. They're the 5-year-olds. Why? Because we create the 5-year-olds. The 5-year-olds for me are out there all the time. We've been 5-year-olds. What day is it today? Monday. It is Monday, isn't it? Yeah, you've been a 5-year-old sometime today, I bet. Yeah, I'm not doing that. No, that's silly, that is. That's nonsense. I don't believe that. That's rubbish. That's 5-year-olds. We got them all the time in our organizations. I went to anybody from Run the Cunning Taff? There is, isn't there? Oh, I've got to be careful what I say. I went to a school somewhere in Wales. A very large school, scary people. I went there because of the head teachers conference, and they said, come back, you're the only person that's ever articulated what I do in my organization. So I went into the school, and I remember being there, and I remember kind of, you know, I was there early, so the guy said, look, come in, have a look, come into the staff room, we'll have a cup of coffee. I'm there with my cup of coffee. In come the staff, one by one, through the doors, and they come in through the door, and I'm going, all right, it's what school, isn't it? all right, bud, yeah. All right, bud, yeah. They're all women, by the way. All right, bud. And then this one came up, and she literally did. She came in. She literally came right up to me. And I'm talking inches. She was literally like this, and she went. And then she looked, there's a group of women on the other side, then she goes, she didn't say a word. She just looked. And then looked me up and down, and I'm thinking, oh, all right. And she went, didn't say a word to me. Just kept looking up and down. She goes, and they go, and these women go, we know, just walk away, keep calm, just don't get involved. Just walk away. And I'm thinking, what's the first thing you check as a man? Fly. I'm going, no, that's all right. It's got to be something else. All right. I did the wink. Notice the wink. Very important. All right. Not a thing. She actually goes to a tribe. She goes, what do you think? I'm disgusted. I've had enough of this. I'm going to walk out. And she said, look, Maureen, keep calm. Keep calm now. Just don't get involved in it. Let's just let it pass and we'll talk about it later, but just keep calm. And I'm still there, bewildered. I haven't a clue. And then I realized what he'd done. I'd got a mug. He'd given me the mug. I'm now drinking out of the most important person in our schools' mug. I haven't got a chance. There's a row of women all sitting there, arms folded, going, go on, motivate us now, Valley Boy. Try it. Come on. I didn't have a chance. Longest hour of my life. But because it's the 5-year-olds. But they got tribes. We know we got tribes in our organizations. We create tribes. We call them HR, finance. We call them, I don't know, sports development officers. We give them titles, creating tribes. Now that's good and bad. But the problem is we then complain about the tribes not sharing or communicating to other people. Well, they won't because they're in a tribe. You shouldn't have names or titles. It spoils it, honestly. Sorry. I was going to show you this, but I think this is the bin man, I think. Yeah, no, I won't show you this. I can't. I haven't got time. I'm not sure how many of you have seen the Band the Boss, the bin men video, the program. But one of the exciting bits for me is that, but as soon as the cameras were switched off, they kind of turned very quickly. I'll tell you the reasons why they turned very quickly. But let me give you some of the results. £1 million saved within 6 months. Number one in the UK in terms of bin collections. Sorry, in UK. I didn't say Wales, UK. You know, when the snow came down and everything was shut for 6 weeks or 7 weeks, these bin men, these guys, went out and collected bins in 4x4s, rather than just saying, oh, well, we can't get the lorry out, so we'll have a cup of tea, which is what they probably would have done previously to that, because they own the service. They came up with innovations. They took recycling from 16% that it was in the borough to 46%. That's in a 12-month period. They did it, not me. There's no consultant doing it. There's no manager doing it. They did it themselves. Sickness went down from 12% down to almost 0. First time in 30-year history of Blarney Grant recording sickness and absenteeism. Why? Because they had to phone not the HR or a manager or a line manager or a supervisor or the other supervisor and the other 36 supervisors. They had to phone the man on the lorry. So they would phone Spadger. Spadge, can I have a day off, mate? I'm really ill. No, you're not ill. You're hungover. I saw you out on Saturday. You were watching the game. No, I'm really ill, Spadge, honestly. You're not ill. I'm bringing a lorry around now. Get your gear on. You're not leaving us a load of short. We're around now. Oh, all right, Spadge. I know that's a form of bullying, I suppose, but it worked. It's their culture, it's their way of doing it. What a difference it made when they started to own the process and they started to be listened to. Phenomenal difference. Very quickly, the change process, that was a nightmare. It's the longest thing I've ever done. I swore when I did Bin Men and Blinded Grant, I would never do another local authority. I've done 4 since. But I swore at that point, that was it for me, because that was horrific. It was 3 months. Now, it normally takes a week to change people, by the way. Whenever I go into an organization, about a week or 2 weeks, we've turned the company around. Now, that might sound silly and shocking, but change either takes a weekend or it takes a lifetime. You either do it or you don't. Get on with it. Stop talking about it. Or talk about it. If you want to talk about it, that's fine, but just don't involve us. But they took 3 months. 3 months of me standing in front of lorries, and I can smell an ash cart now from about 7 miles away. I'm trained for it. You know, because I could smell it. I would go by the lorry. I would go by the ash cart of Mikey Rose from Cum. I'd go, Mikey, can I have a word with you? Paul, for you, anything, mate. I love it. I love what you're doing. It's brilliant. Brilliant. Now, they could sway. They could break up a word and put a swear word in the middle. Yeah. No, I've tried it. I'll try it. Put a swear word in the middle of a normal word and try and do a sentence of it. It's brilliant. It's a dialect. But they would do it. And then I would say, Mikey, let's have a chat. Paul, I love your work. I think it's brilliant. I want to get rid of these managers as well. I said, yeah, but just let me warm my lorry up. Let me check it out. So he would. He'd get in his lorry, check his lorry out. I would then go to Spadger. I go, Spadger. You don't look like Spadger, though. Just to kind of tell you now. Spadge, can I have a word with you? And they go, yeah, Paul, for you. Oh, yeah, brilliant. I love your work. It's absolutely brilliant. Now, as I'm talking to Spadger, Mikey is driving out. He's going, 3 months of doing that. I didn't know how to stop them. And there was a mechanic, a young mechanic there, 21, who came around and he said, Paul, he said, he was really nervous. Paul, he said, collect the keys out of the lorries, put them in a bag, put them on a table, get them into the canteen. You got them. And I'm there going, that's a really good idea. Now, Rob, the cameraman, was going by saying, why didn't we think of that? We've been here 3 months. I want to know. So we got the keys, put them in a bag, put them on the kitchen table, in the canteen, and we waited for them. We literally did wait for these guys to turn up. And this was like 6 o'clock in the morning. So and it wasn't. It pitched back outside, middle of winter. All I could see was the fluorescence. Yeah, outside this. Now, the windows in the canteen was about this high. Yeah, so I could just see a little through. And Rob, the cameraman, had a HD camera, which is this huge monster of a thing. And he's standing there like, he's only a little guy, standing there like that, and he's going, right, we're ready, aren't we? He said, so roll camera. I went, roll camera. Yep, here we go. And they're all on outside, and I can see them now getting closer. Now I can see the orange of the jacket. Now I can see the whites of the faces. Now I can see the dark eyes coming in very close now to the window. And they're looking into the window going, you because they hated being stopped. So they're now looking at me. Rob, the cameraman, goes, do you still think this is a good idea? Yeah. But eventually, they all start coming in. They pile into the room. They're all sitting there, arms folded, the body language. Not a word said. I tried to speak to them. I go, look, guys, sorry about this, but I want you in. I need to talk to you all. This initiative, da-da-da-da. I give them all a lovely speech. Silence. One boy stands up. A guy called Phil Edwards stands up. Now, he's a little bit bigger than me. No teeth, handlebar moustache, rolled up balaclava. Yeah. And he looks, he said, Paul, we've had enough of you. I said, pardon? We've had enough of you. We said, I'm sick of this. He said, we want you out. We don't do this. He said, why didn't you get the hint? He said, we want you off-site now. He said, I want you out. I went, no, I'm not going. I said, I've been here 3 months. I said, the BBC are here with me. I said, we're going to do this program regardless. You've got to at least try it. And going back to the March game, at least try it. Complain about it afterwards, but then at least have a go. And then tell me it's wrong. But if it's wrong, I'll hands up. Yeah, it's wrong. But no, you're going to try it. No, we're not doing it. In fact, he said, it's a yes or no. He said, if you win, we'll do it. If you lose, he said, you get in your car and go back home. What do you mean? He said, yes or no? Well, I said, it's going to be a yes. He said, shake on it. I went, okay, shake on it. He said, yes. He said, if it's a win, we'll do it. He said, if it's a loss, in your car, we never see you again. Oh, that camera. Yeah, okay, fair enough, Phil. He said, right, Beefy, stand up. Take him out the back. No CCTV cameras, he said. Have a fight. If he wins, we'll do it. If he loses, put him back in his car. I thought, this ain't going to be good, is it? Beefy, he ain't going to be short, is he? Beefy stands up, and he continues to stand up for about 20 minutes. And I'm looking at Beefy. I got Phil Edwards there. I got Beefy there, and I'm looking at Beefy thinking, right, okay. And Beefy looks, and he's, kind of, it's early morning, he goes, and I'm taking my coat off, thinking, oh, I'm not going to do this. I got to run. I'm going to run now. I'm taking my coat off. I got Rob the cameraman going, I can't film this. This is the BBC. I can't film this, seriously. I said, you ain't going to film it, don't worry. I said, you ain't quick enough. So I take my jacket off. Beefy's now, he looks at me, he goes, I don't want to fight him. He said, I'm tired today. He said, it's a bit early for fighting. And Phil Edwards looks at me, you wanted to fight him yesterday. Yeah, but that was yesterday. I'm a bit tired today. I had rugby practice last night, a bit achy. He said, I'll fight him afterwards. No, you fight him now. No, I'll fight him after. Phil, leave it here now, I'm going to fight him after. No, he wants to fight you now. Take him out the back and fight him. We'll get rid of him, man. I'll do it after, Phil. Calm down now, keep calm. No, they're having a little set too. Halfway through this, now Spadger is at the back of the room. He's right at the back. Spadger is about this big. Yeah, he's really old. He's only about 20, but he's had a real odd life. He's about this big, like this. He gets up and he goes, for F&L's sake, I'll fight him. He starts pushing the people out the way. I'm thinking, I can take him. Keep the camera rolling. But in that moment, Phil Edwards goes, no, Spadge, sit down. It's okay. Yeah, go on, we'll do it. And sits back down. 3 months. Decision like that. No, I don't recommend this as a change process, by the way. You won't find it in any book. But that was it. That was the moment they just turned on, and did it. And that's where all the savings came from. That's true leadership. Leadership is throughout. Leadership is within. Does that make sense? Yeah? That's what they drew when they gave it to me. I'm going to skip. I'm going to skip right to the end. I want to leave you with that. That's the boundaries. Because to me, that's what good organizations do. They set boundaries. They don't set targets. They don't do key performance indicators. They don't do any of that nonsense. Number sub-optimize systems, don't you? In manufacturing, we know if we set the target of 15, what will you do? 15? 16? No, you don't. You'll do 14. So if you set targets as an organization, you sub-optimize on lower standards. All right? Do you want to skip to the end? Is that okay? Have I finished? I'm really out of time. I'm going to keep on for hours otherwise. Are you okay? Any questions? Where am I? What am I doing? Do you know one of the kind of key questions I ask is, can leadership be taught? Can I actually take a group of managers and senior managers off and put them into a room and hand on heart, and I shouldn't say this as head of leadership, but I think the answer is no. I could take a group of 50 people and turn them into managers, but I don't think I can do it with leaders. I think the key thing for me is that you either have it or you don't. We did a guy called, have I got 2 minutes? Little bit, half a minute. Are you okay with that? Just half a minute? I got a guy called Jeremy, yeah, and he's in the Welsh Assembly government. He's not in the room, is he? No. And I took Jeremy out, and one of the things we did this experiment a number of years ago. Can we make them into leaders? We took them before we took them away for 2 weeks to give them all this leadership training, I had to go in and assess them. So I actually went into Jeremy and seen him in the workplace. Because what they tell me isn't what they actually do in the workplace, because we have a different concept, don't we? So I remember saying, right, Jeremy, get in there. Let's see you interact with your staff. And he go, what? Now? I went, yeah, get in your staff. 2,500 staff he had. And he went, okay. Right, now, he said, yeah, get in and do it now. Well, what are you looking for? And I went, right, now, he said, okay. I said, what are you doing? He went, I'm warming up. I said, do you normally warm up when you speak to staff? Well, yeah. I said, well, I don't know, this is unplanned. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. And he actually went, I sent him in and said, look, get in there. And I went, are you okay with role play? Yeah, you sure? Yeah? You've never been picked on so much, have you? I went, right, okay, go on, Jeremy, get in there, sort them out. So I'm there with my assessment form, and he went, sorry, I'm going to call you Blogs, right? That's okay. I went, so you walked in and he said, Blogs. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everything okay, Blogs? Productivity good, Blogs?
Yeah, thanks, sir.
Excellent, Blogs. Carry on.
Thanks, sir.
And he walked up to me, and I've got these forms, and I'm going, is that it? He went, yes. What do you think? You need a lot of work, mate. Of course, goes away for 2 weeks, comes back. I then say, right, okay, come on, off you go again. Let's have some, let's go and see, talk to the Blogs. Right, okay, right, okay. I'm going in again. I'm going in. I went, no, cut that out. Just get in and talk to Blogs. Right, in the Blogs, go. Blogs. I've scared you now, haven't I? I've done a mail pose. Blogs. Yes, sir. Remember your position, blogs. Everything okay, blogs? How are we feeling today, blogs?
Worried, sir.
Good, good. Worried is good, blogs. Excellent. Good. Well done. Do you have a family, blogs?
Yes, sir.
Do you like them? Good, good. Some of them is good, blogs. Excellent, blogs. Well done, blogs. Excellent work, by the way. I don't know what you do, blogs, but excellent anyway. Now he's walking out the door, he's going. Trying to keep eye contact. All the things he's been taught on the course. Shuts the door, and he goes, what do you think? And I think, go back to management. Doesn't work. It's innate. I think you either love people, and I use the word and I express it properly. Love. You either love people or you don't. Yes? Does that make sense? Leadership really has to come from within. You need some boundaries, you need to set the rules, but you don't drive, you certainly don't control people in organizations. You influence them. You have to trust them, you have to allow a risk, because if you don't take risks, you're not being creative and innovative. End of story. And I'm going to stop, because I'm being glared at. Thank you very much.